Have you seen what is happening with crypto market currently? Why Bitcoin is dumping and what's next with altcoins? Blast airdrop happened 2 days ago, but Andy on Blast did not surge up like crazy. Today we will go through data, market and a bunch of research, and I will share what's next for Andy on Blast. What you should expect as an investor into a largest meme token on the most innovative chain of this cycle, and what accomplished for the project in the last 3 weeks. I do believe something very interesting is brewing for Blast at the moment, and I would like to share my thoughts. Andy on Blast, the life after the airdrop, crypto market in July. Structure for this video, we will go through current market, Blast airdrop, whales buying, thesis for Andy on Blast and why it did not play out yet, what was accomplished in the last 3 weeks, and Blast meme season, business value of these things as well, Ethereum beta race, and eventually what's next for the project as well. From my opinion, I'm a huge supporter of the project, but I'm not a part of the project myself. Right now, at the time of recording of this video, Bitcoin is $60,800. We recently just had this dump from 61.5k to the current levels. Personally, as mentioned, I do think that actually reversal of the market already happened. I don't think that we have a large downside from here in terms of altcoins and things like that. Although, to be honest with you, yesterday's Solana ETF pump kind of felt like Solana exit pump, which is quite funny and quite interesting. Remember, I was telling you that there is a level of $115 and that I thought that Solana should be pumping, but a lot of traders, a lot of people on the market, they do see the same level as well. So maybe yesterday pump was just something to pretty much let as much people as they only can to enter loans on Solana ecosystem and on Solana token as well. Let as many people as they can on Solana ecosystem loans and on Solana as well, then to take their liquidity through dumping of the market currently. Solana is a very high volatility token in the scenario of the markets where we are going down. There are not a lot of people who are holding these things. It's usually something that you buy when you think that the market is going up and something that you sell when you think that the market is going down. Overall, I do believe that July is going to be a very bullish month for the crypto market. Partially, it's connected with the fact that we are closing second quarter in June, which is a very important date in financial markets and for financial businesses as well, hedge funds and companies like that. There are even people in Andy community that are waiting for the end of the quarter to be able to invest more funds into Andy because of internal compliances that they have in their funds. And this is just only one of the crazy stories. We had OTC requests to the team to buy from $2 to $2.5 million worth of Andy through OTC. We also had people who were drained out of $120,000 worth of Andy, rebuying the next day $125,000 more. Do you understand what type of a community we are building at this stage? This is the main reason why we are holding this floor so well. And this is the main reason why the asset was actually able to do a 10x in a declining market. Smart people understand what is happening. Smart people understand what type of bet, what type of ecosystem this is in the first place. There are no bets like this in the market currently. And I will actually prove this to you. And we will be talking about it a bit later in the video, in the section where we'll be discussing Ethereum beta and what Andy is from an investment point of view and how I am seeing it myself personally. To finalize market-wise, I do believe right now is a very nice stage to accumulate altcoins. Still, I do believe that manipulator is specifically holding us in the range, trying to shake out last people. And there are some very interesting ecosystems that are actually behaving themselves quite strongly. That I'm constantly watching the markets. Like right now, I'm in the markets for 14 plus hours a day because I do understand that this is the edge that you need to have currently, because a lot of people left, a lot of people are on the vacations, a lot of people are tired, a lot of people are hurt from the bags going down. These are generational opportunities where you need to be active. You need to search, you need to look, and you need to position yourself properly right now. And what's interesting is that we have only a couple days before the end of the quarter, where we do expect this additional volatility. After that, especially if we will be closing BTC candle, monthly candle in green, man, this should be just crazy. But I do expect Black Swan happening in July due to some events in the world. We will be seeing if it would be happening. We will be seeing if this would be happen. But enough of the market. Let's actually continue with Andy on Blast. Point number 2, Blast airdrop. Market had different expectations about Blast airdrop and outcomes did not fulfill all of them. First of all, I do think that a lot of people are ungrateful in the first place because overall these are free money, and I do think that Pac-Man himself is a bit irritated because of it, because it's the worst feeling you can have in the world. You are giving people millions of dollars, free money pretty much. They are upset, they're making jokes on Twitter, and we are as like a bunch of people, it's fine for us. But if you're the person that all this stuff is actually directed to, that's a very, very tough and bad type of energy in the first place. It's kind of hard to go through these things, and that's why I'm saying, and that's like, this is one of the things that I'm seeing as the most complex one in actually developing products in crypto. Because if you're developing products for Web 2, if you're just working as a software developer, you don't have this type of connection and communication with the end community, with the end user. You might have some customer services and things like that. It's a bit different. This is why the proper development of products in the ecosystem is actually quite hard, because you definitely have psychological pressure on yourself. But Pac-Man proved it 2 times. First, he sold his company to biggest competitor of GoDaddy. Secondly, he's very successful with his NFT marketplace Blur, which is a very, very interesting bet that any VC would actually take, if you ask me, in this market, in any market, with any product, on the founder like this. Mostly people were expecting higher FDV, which would result in the higher amount of airdrop farm. So obviously, estimates that I saw on Twitter, they were about $5, $7 per Blast Gold, which would put FDV of the Blast token to 5 to 7 billion, and it came out around 2 billion FDV eventually, right? But let's actually go through this. Let's actually try to put ourselves at the position of the market maker, at the position of Pac-Man, and in the current market, because we do have to understand we are in a very scared market currently. A lot of people left, a lot of people are not watching actively. Fear and greed index right now is at 30. Do you know when was the last time when fear and greed index was at 30? It was when Bitcoin was $29,000. That's why I'm saying to you one more time, you should be buying anything. You should be buying anything at this stage in crypto market. The opinions are also subjective, because I also wanted to show an opinion from Bob Lucas, who is a macro crypto analyst. Each and every influencer you are watching on this market, they are basing their projections and their predictions on what Bob Lucas actually says. They are watching Bob Lucas and they are pretty much just trading this market of what Bob Lucas has to say. I put a little Ethereum to work on Blast past 5 months, just passive. Was very happy with the drop, was like a 55% APY on Ethereum. I mean, people complaining have a warped sense of reality, where you would actually get a 55% APY on the asset in this short amount of time frame, especially with the fact that you can withdraw and do anything that you want with your asset. And you can even play with the asset on chain because you're not locking it anywhere. I do think that in crypto we definitely have a bit of warped reality around us, with people constantly screaming about 5x's, 10x's, 20x's. In default world, if you would tell anyone about this type of API, they will just call you crazy. They will call this a scam. And this API is sustainable. Blast launched with low FDV into a secured market. Let's put ourselves at the spot of the market maker. Will you launch a token in the current market with high FDV, and what it would result in, how it would affect Andy as well? So this is something I wanted to go through as well. Current FDV is quite low based on the estimates of certain people. What if we would be launching with high FDV? We would be launching with FDV of $5 or $7 billion, right? What it would result in? It would result in the chart It pretty much looks like this all the time. I know some smart people, smart guys from you might say that Stan, chart kind of looks like this already, but it won't be looking like this currently because it won't be looking like this for a long time because a bunch of people, whales, are already saying that Blast at these levels is very, very undervalued. And what current low FDV would result in, yes, but what current FDV will probably result into is that, yes, currently we are dumping, people are selling, we had this leg up and then it got sold. I do expect us to consolidate for some time at this level. I don't expect ours to actually go much lower. You have to understand we are in a very, very scared market currently. These are conditions that are fully controversial to the conditions that we had in March and April. And there are a lot of messages from whales that we are buying out at 2 billion FDV, we are just buying out. And there is a very, very easy comparison with other layer 2s on the market. I do expect from us to consolidate in these levels. Once we would be having a market reversal, I do expect from us to actually start to move up heavier at this stage. And this part is actually quite smart from the market maker because you don't want to give a lot of free money to people who would want to sell low anyway. And it's quite interesting that overall participants of Blast ecosystem, they do understand these things. And it seems like they're not the people that need the funds right away because people who wanted the funds right away, they dumped here right now. Current situation is that 70% of claimers of the airdrop are actually holding it. Please let me know of any ecosystem, any project that was launching on this market where people 2 days after the airdrop, 70% of people that claimed the airdrop were holding the airdrop. Do you know why? Because they do understand that the thing is undervalued. They're just waiting for people who are scared, who want to dump, who need money, who does not believe in the ecosystem. They're just waiting for them to dump. And I do think that a lot of them, they will just continue to hold. They will just decide not to sell because utility of a governance token in a highly incentivized environment is heavily underestimated and undervalued. We will touch on this a bit later in the video as well, but it is just one of them. I do think that internally we do have, like we all have the same feeling. Pac-Man is cooking something. Something is coming. It feels like calm before the storm. Blue JITs, blue sellers, got punished heavily. And from the market making point of view, this is the best type of launch you can only do in the current environment. Market is scared. I do believe that we reversed already, but most of the market does not see it currently at this stage. Therefore, if you're just launching with high FDV, what would be happening? You would have this chart, but you would have people dumping for months. And imagine someone who actually wanted to acquire, to get exposure to Blast ecosystem is buying here, and he's just getting dumped on. He's just going down, 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 down. It's a very, very bad experience for new investors, for the secondary market as well. This is the best type of launch that you only could have in this market. Moving further, whales are buying. Why whales are buying? What is the reasoning behind that? Let me actually show you first that whales are buying. If Blast go down to 2 billion FDV again, I'm buying again. I don't give a fuck. Let me cook. Machi, biggest buyer of Blast. 4 million bought of Blast tokens. Do you think someone is buying 4 million just of lulz? Do you think someone that can buy 4 million worth of the best layer 2 token is stupid? Blast is an obvious play at the current price. This is so crazy because the whole market at this stage, the whole market is looking for Ethereum beta because the whole market expects Ethereum to appreciate in price. We will talk about this as well. This is the ultimate setup that we have currently. And competition on the marketplace is just, it's just not at the same levels. And Pac-Man is actually very, very smartly counter-trading the greedy VCs of this cycle with Ethereum layer 2s in the fact that Blast FDV is way lower in comparison to the FDV of other layer 2s. And there is also a very, very important point about the people who will be receiving tokens moving further. Because in case of other layer 2s, these are just VCs. In case of Blast, These are people who actually were farming and participating in the ecosystem. And I will talk about this as well. This is a very, very important note. Influencers are dunking on Blast. Smart traders are buying. Lesson in that. Got airdrop $75,000 worth of Blast today. Want to know the craziest part? I haven't sold any. Gold Milia. And this is the tendency that a lot of community actually has. One more time, I want to ask you, did you ever see the airdrop in this market that was not sold right away in the first second after the drop? Did you ever see that? Please let me know. A wallet owned by someone everyone in crypto Twitter knows is doing this. One more hint, they have over 6,000 Ethereum in this wallet. Do with this information as you will. It's very interesting because this type of maniac buys, they only signalize that the person is pretty much just making free money. He don't understand that these are just free money at this stage. Because to think that Blast will underperform Ethereum, it's so crazy at this stage. And to think that people will damp this to zero. We are at the peak fear in the market. Again, fear and greed index is at the level when Bitcoin was at $29,000. This is just peak buying opportunity currently. This is the reason I'm buying Indian Blast as well. This is the reason I added $13,000 yesterday as well. Because I do expect Indian Blast to outperform Blast token. And for me, this is just a safe beta play on the ecosystem, but we will talk about this as well. You are telling me whales are accumulating and holding while low conviction farmers are capitulating, and you are freaking out on the timeline. Couldn't be me. Blast airdrop recipients behavior by user count. Most are hodling. Blast airdrop recipients behavior by token amount. Whales accumulating. All transactions are sold, small amount, holding, partial transfer to sold. Most whales are accumulating because again, to a certain extent, I was sharing this as well on my Twitter. These are free money at this stage because Blast token will definitely 100% outperform Ethereum. It's getting oversold currently. The market is scared shitless. We are at a very, very interesting spot currently. And 100% Pac-Man is also cooking something to punish the sellers. Looks like 78% of Blast tokens have been claimed so far. That's 12 billion tokens, meaning Blast's circulating market cap is around 266 million. This is even lower than the numbers that we are seeing on CoinMarketCap, which means that the deal that you are getting currently is even better. 70% of claimers are holding, likely understated given transfers, and 2% are accumulating for the dashboard. And this is something on the topic of the launch in low FDV. As mentioned, I do think that in the current market, launch with low FDV is the best thing that could have happened. Why not a low FDV at TG and pump from here? Why not participate in the second season for an even bigger airdrop? Why be farmed pre-TG by chain seeking high fundraising valuations, only to be let down post-TG and dump only? Have conviction. As I was sharing in videos like 2 months ago, Pac-Man with Blast is counter-trading the current meta of VCs and high FDV as well, and counter-trading the meta of airdrops because Kobe was sharing, and essentially it's a sentiment in the marketplace currently. People do not believe in airdrops because they're just dumping them right away. They don't make sense in the first place. And the way this thing is structured, it actually makes sense because it will allow for the growth of the token over time. And instead of people who would be crying because they wanted to hold the project, they actually believed in the ecosystem, this launch with low FDV will actually incentivize believers over time, because over time the price of the asset will appreciate. It won't just dump for the infinite amount of time. This is why these things are set up in this way. What do they see that broader market does not? Scared conditions, people dumping just for the sake of airdrop. Pac-Man loves to punish JITs. Basic invalidation is Blast token not doing well when the market reverses. Should not too. So basic invalidation for you, if you want to finalize for yourself if the airdrop was a success or was not a success, is once market reverses, once fear and greed will go up as well, once the conditions will become better as well, Blast token trending at the current levels as we have currently, which would mean that it's not oversold currently, which would mean it's probably a fair price. Do you actually believe yourself that in the better market conditions, Blast token will be traded at the current levels? I saw a tweet that I won't be able to show to you, but it's a very, very interesting one. A guy was sharing a poll, like a screenshot, with the most of participants of crypto Twitter projecting the price of Blast, projecting the FDV at from 5 billion FDV to 10 billion FDV. And Blast came out at 2 billion FDV. And the guy was asking, so 2 days ago, crypto Twitter was projecting the price of the token to be at least 2 to 4 times higher. And right now, everyone is screaming about how low is the price instead of buying it, instead of understanding it is undervalued. You need to have a long-term vision. You need to understand these things. This is actually the opportunity to acquire this thing at a lower market cap. This is not the opportunity to dump low. This is opportunity to acquire this token at a lower market cap. And following the fact that 70% of claimers are holding, they do understand something is not right. Something is going to happen with these things. Something is coming. This is exactly the thought process that I had myself, because I did not understand what is happening. And I had some conversations with some people. I check out some Twitter threads. I check out some information. This is the thing that I'm coming to. This is the best type of launch to actually launch this thing in the current market with low FDV. This is the best user experience and investor experience that will be for the holder and for the buyer of this thing, because people who would actually hold the airdrop, they will get incentivized over time. And people who would sell anyway right away, they will be selling cheap. Ecosystem does not these type of people anyway. They are just, man, this is so smart. Do you understand that Pac-Man won? Again, he pretty much just won again. Punishing the sellers would be the best marketing. Cope on the timeline would be enormous. Imagine us with Blast token in a short time frame trading at like 2x, 3x, 4x. Imagine the cope on the timeline. Right now it's FUD, people making fun. You need to understand FUD is always the opportunity. FUD makes assets oversold, which gives you a better entry point. Right now is not a chance to actually dump. Right now is the chance to accumulate more. This is what the market is giving you. You need to understand these things. There is no competition in layer 2s. None of the other layer 2s have the same type of vision, same type of reasoning for actually existing, same type of users. Blast is the largest, Blast is the highest growing chain in the whole history of crypto that you can get currently at $266 million market cap. With users, with TVL, this is just so crazy to understand. And you might say, but why you yourself are not buying Blast and suggesting us to buy? And why you yourself swapped your Blast yesterday in Andy? Again, because I do expect largest meme on the chain to outperform the token of the chain, just because of the fact it's a very easy bet for the outsiders. It's just simple. It's stupid to a certain extent as well. This is what I like in this market. I will explain this as well. Why Andy thesis did not play out initial. The initial thesis was that with the airdrop house money, we are pushing into the way higher market cap right away. So just on the day of the airdrop, we are already in hundreds of millions. Why is it not happening? Because people are not selling their airdrop. Do you understand that for us to actually push higher, we need people to sell the airdrop? If 70% of claimers are holding the airdrop, it means that they did not realize the gains. They don't have this effect of house money. They don't have this house money pretty much. Therefore, right now we wait. And that's why some people are very, very quick with outcomes. Oh, it probably was not successful. Thesis is invalidated. Wait. Just wait at this stage. People did not sell their airdrop yet. We need to see for at least a couple of weeks. And I know some things are brewing. Not just in terms of Pac-Man, in terms of Blast, in terms of Andy, in terms of the project, in terms of the teams around this project as well. Why is it not happening? Because people are not selling the airdrop. Why? Because they think it's undervalued. Whether or not they just want to dump higher or decided to hold long term. How to look for invalidation? Because as investors, we actually have to understand when our thesis invalidates. We have to wait until a large amount of people would convert the airdrop, sell it, plus market reversal as well, because a large amount of people will only be selling the airdrop only at the market reversal. The bearish scenario, obviously, if we are dumping like crazy to 40k BTC and people just sell the airdrop out of desperation, things like that, I don't believe that we would be seeing these type of numbers, right? Are there any additional capital inflows? Yes, we should be getting Blast TG summer with a range of projects such as Wasabi Protocol, Thruster, YOLO Blast launching airdrops, and a bunch of others as well. They should allocate quite a lot of liquidity for airdrops as they were gathering transactions fees for 7+ months already. These are just larger projects. We should be getting much more TGs over time. Important note, it took Bonk to get to 1 billion plus in market cap only with airdrops of Solana ecosystem projects, not Solana tokens itself. And at that time, Solana market cap was also way lower. All this house money effect should serve well for on-chain meme coins. There is also a very, very important characteristic that I would like to share on the type of holder, of person who received the airdrop, and the fact that the main criteria to actually receive the airdrop was to be on the chain, to develop certain loyalty to this chain. And this is the reason why people are holding the airdrop, because they developed this loyalty to the chain. It does not interfere with our thesis. It only makes it better long term. Would you want Andy to pump to 150 million market cap and then just die out with the whole blast? Or have a steady pump over time? I'm not saying that it's going to take long term to pump to nice levels, to hundreds of millions, but have steady pump over time along with the development of the ecosystem, essentially inflicting longevity of the ecosystem and the fact that things will be happening, things will be developing in the ecosystem as well. And I do honestly expect it to happen short term, which is a very, very interesting part. In July, as mentioned, because I do expect reversal of the market in July. Let's actually dive into this part as well. Firstly, let's go through things that were accomplished. 10x on a declining market. Market is absolutely shitting in the last couple of weeks. We pretty much done a 10x from $5 million to $60 million market cap. By the way, I did not sell any tokens myself. I sold 0 tokens of Endion Blast, and I'm planning to hold for a very, very long term as well, mainly because of the reasoning that I have and how I view this bet, and I will share it with you as well. These are the tokens on one of my wallets. I'm holding all of my supply. Improved quality of holders significantly resulted us in holding the floor very, very well, because short-term holders that don't understand the upside are getting replaced with long-term holders that understand the ecosystem, understand the potential, understand what is happening, and understand what actually awaits us short-term as well. Onboarded Blast whales that know the ecosystem right away, that know the very, very well, the dApps, the things that are happening in the ecosystem as well. Solidified ourselves as top meme on the chain. It's very important that we are not only appealing for the intra-chain people, we are also appealing for the outer chain people, because this narrative is marketed on the market very, very well at this stage. It's very, very well known. It's easy to understand. And for people getting exposure to the ecosystem through the meme token of this narrative is a very, very simple and safe bet as well. Added a range of partnerships, some of which will be announced soon, with huge plans on the project shared by partners. I can't share a lot on it at this stage. I would just add that the things that I was talking a lot on, the things I was sharing in connection to some projects on Solana and similar setups and things like that, they actually tend to be true, and certain expectations were shared by the partners, similarly as the results of the outcomes of the actions in the previous time with the project in a similar type of setup. I know it's a bit vague, but I cannot share certain things from my end. First, SEX listing, others on the way. Currently, the team is carefully assessing volumes on the current SEX. We have a very, very great organic volumes for Endion Blast on Bitmark currently, which is a great point to actually be onboarded to other exchanges that are in talks already. Blast TG summer is underway. Ecosystem projects airdropping tokens free liquidity plus house money, as well as appreciation of Blast token itself upon the reversal. But the one thing I was also telling you about is that we should calculate the market cap of Andy based on the market cap of the token of the chain, which is Blast. I do think that it's quite wrong. It would be quite wrong at this stage. And we should compare Andy to Brett and to Base. And I will share this as well moving forward too. Blast meme season, business value. What about Blast meme season? Did Pacman share anything on it in his recent interview? What is the strategy of Blast so far? Let's hear what actually Pacman has to say on this part in his interview.
And freedom to transact.
Yeah, the thing that I think gets missed the most is a lot of people see the degen activity and that turns them off from the space, and it kind of distracts from what the actual end game is. It's perfectly okay for the users to come on for that financial opportunity, right?
It's perfectly okay for users to come for degen activity, which is financial opportunity.
Come to America for the land, for the land of opportunity. But what gets you to stay is once you're here, you have a better life. Once you're on chain, you do have a better life. You have the higher yield, you have the freedom to transact, you have all these opportunities
You're
that exist.
actually getting value returned to you and
You're
not
getting,
extracted
exactly.
from you.
So at the end of the day, these, the current degenning, that is really just a bootstrapping mechanism. And it's a bootstrapping mechanism that's a means to an end. The end game is you effectively have this completely unbanked network of individuals that can transact on this permissionless network that is just bringing those networked individuals significantly more value than that previous system. And just in order to get there, you have to go through that bootstrapping phase.
I need to explain this. This is just so important. He pretty much accepts and claims that he understands that this bootstrapping phase of attracting of degens into the chain, that's perfectly fine. That this is actually the way how they've been doing it so far and how they're planning to do that moving forward. He compares it to the United States of America that was attracting people the same way. Opportunity, lender free, gold rush as well. This is exactly what was happening. But he's saying that in order to retain people, you actually need retain mechanisms in place once you attract people. Do you understand where I'm actually leading my thought process into? First, you need to develop retention mechanism and you need to prove that it actually works. And then you kick off the phase of bootstrapping, of attracting a bunch of degens on chain where they actually would be able to experience better incentives, higher yield, better user experience, and incentives for doing things on chain. I'm seeing him here talking about meme season and about memes on Blast. They have this thing, they prove that retention is nice. They actually were able to sustain a bunch of people on the chain. They were able to form a bunch of communities on chain already. Pretty much attract a bunch of TVL. And some people might say that, oh, TVL actually went down after the airdrop 25%. Most of it actually left there. And it's still at the levels around very, very close to base chain. And everyone screams about base chain. No one is talking about Blast. This is the opportunity. This is just crazy to see. He understands these things heavily. And this is something that I think he's preparing because it has the most business value. Attract a bunch of degens and just show them that they can get incentives for trading memes, for actually holding memes. They can do some interesting things on chain as well. They can receive native yield. You have to understand, you only want to launch one meme season on chain, right? The first one. And after that, you want it to continue. And at the same time, you want to actually show people the benefits of your chain. You want to have this retention mechanism in play, not for them to leave and afterwards just have this thought process, or there was like nothing special about it, so I'm not even sure I was there. And it would be very, very hard to change this perception, then create the right perception in the first place when things are set up already. I honestly believe that this is the part that should be coming quite soon. And what's interesting is that it's pure business value. in the Blast chain. It's like the process of how they are building the chain, how they were able to attract so much TVL, how they were able to become the largest chain, largest growing chain in the history of all blockchains. They pretty much were taking something that works already and implementing this on Blast, showing people and market participants that by doing the same thing on their chain, they are getting more incentives. There are more benefits for them to be on the chain. Therefore, they would actually not stop until they will take each and every part of the things that are actually popular and happening on other chains and replicate them on Blast and show market participants that it's actually way better to participate in this type of activities on Blast. And to support my words, I have a tweet from the founder of Pacman. Blast is becoming a consumer blockchain. Same strategy as Solana. Do with that information what you will. It's also very interesting how well this part of the business model structures in the part of the business strategy of the teams of different parties around India at this stage. It's almost like it's a very, very interesting win-win situation. I was sharing parts of it in previous videos. I can just not tell it like perfectly 100%, but if you were watching previous videos, you can connect the dots at this stage. Ethereum beta race. Is there a beta Ethereum option for market participants wanting to get into Ethereum layer 2 exposure at this stage? People are buying things like Starknet, for example. Blast situation is much better. Highest growing chain, largest TVL, largest fees from transactions, activities, incentives, native yield. Blast situation is much better than any of these layer 2s. Blast situation is much better on top of the most people that get unlocks in projects. This is a very, very important thought. Most people that get unlocks in these layer 2s, like Starknet, are venture capitalists that have zero loyalty to the ecosystem and just want to dump right away to get the return on investment. They just don't care. They just want to dump. We've seen it already multiple times. This is one of the main reasons why altcoins are heavily underperforming this cycle. They just don't care. They came to this market, they created fake teams, they're just dumping. This is where Pacman is actually counter-trading everything that's happening on this market currently. This is why this is such a good bet at this stage. A lot of people who are awaiting Blast airdrop vesting are loyal supporters of the ecosystem. They were able to earn largest amount of gold as they were most active in the ecosystem and provided it with the most value determined by the ecosystem. The reason the ecosystem gave them this amount of gold is because the ecosystem determined itself that they provided the most amount of value. Therefore, there is way higher chance they will be holding or that these funds will stay within the ecosystem even if they would be selling the main token. And we already see that with 70% of people who claimed actually holding the tokens. You do not have any precedent like this in the crypto market. People just holding their airdrops. I've never heard of it before. And you have a comparison here. You can see that Starknet FDV is 9 times larger than the market cap. And Blast FDV is pretty much only 5 times larger. And the only amount of funds that actually fundraised is only $20 million, which means that VCs will be receiving a very, very small part of this thing, and mostly it will go to people who pretty much just farmed most gold, which means that the ecosystem actually determined that they provided the largest amount of value to the ecosystem, and that's why they will be receiving the largest amount of Blast token. But through doing this action, they, as human beings, they 100% developed loyalty for the ecosystem. Therefore, they will stay there. Therefore, they continue to talk about it. Therefore, they will continue to keep the liquidity in the ecosystem. This is so smart. With the low FDV launch, with all these things, with this vesting, with people who have vesting because of the fact they actually deliver the largest amount of value to the ecosystem. It's thought through very, very well. Very, very well. Andy, on the other hand, is the best degen beta to Blast at this stage. So we can say that Andy is an Ethereum beta squared at this stage because Blast is the best risk reward Ethereum beta, speaking of the layer 2s, right? For people who do not want to take part and participate in meme tokens, for example, right? And they just want to get exposure through Ethereum betas such as layer 2s. Blast is the best deal on the market currently. It's oversold, it's undervalued, and FDV is way lower. And what's important is that people who would be receiving unlocks, they would actually, most likely, not be dumping. At least they have way higher chance not to dump. And on top of it, utility, governance utility of Blast token is heavily undervalued because its governance utility is highly incentivized. Like even in this part, even in the part where people are thinking that, oh, it's just default, it's like everything, it's like everywhere else, Pac-Man actually wins again with providing default utility for the main token governance, but in a highly incentivized ecosystem, which provides so much value. We will talk about this. It's just so crazy. So you can say that Andy is an Ethereum beta squared at this stage. It's a well-known and a well-marketed narrative. It's first Andy token on the market. A range of market participants and different communities know about it. A lot of people understand that Blast is just a time bomb at this stage. Question of something revolutionary and innovative appearing on the chain, attracting attention of large portion of the market is only a question of time. And you can argue that it already happened. It's just that not largest portion of the market experienced that. And the way for the larger portion of the market to experience that is actually to attract them into the chain. And the cheapest and the best way to attract large portion of crypto native to the market is meme season. There is almost zero chance to get exposure to new innovation for an outsider on Blast if he is not participating in the chain actively. If you're not actively in the chain and something new and something revolutionary comes out on Blast, how you will get exposure? If you're not active on the chain, there is no way for you to actually get it, right? But how to hedge yourself against that? How to bet on the success of the ecosystem and success of the founder who had a crypto company exit, is a Y Combinator alumni and took over 80% of NFT market share already by the largest meme coin on the chain with a well-known narrative. This is the way you are getting exposure to the success of Blast, as it is a matter of this cycle to buy memes on the chains to get exposures to them, because everyone understands currently that largest meme of the chain, they do always outperform the main token of the chain. At the same time, they're quite safe, especially if you're entering at the start of the whole thing happening. And on top of that, we have Boys Club meta as the main one and well known to the marketplace. Not a lot of chains actually have these Boys Club characters meta implemented. You can only say Ethereum with Pepe, you can say Base with Brett, and we have Andy on Blast. And it's quite interesting that we have the situation with Brett on Base and Andy on Blast, because I do believe this would be the largest two layer 2s this cycle that will be constantly competing, with Blast eventually overtaken, because it's not a Fed chain created by the US government, right? I feel myself very comfortable with exposure to Blast through Andy, understanding that whatever success happens on chain, I will have exposure to it right away through Andy, as it's a simple bet for both intra and outer chain participants. This is a very, very important part, because you can say that I'm not native to Blast in the first place. I got introduced to the ecosystem through Andy. I was not even using like a bunch of dApps. I was just using DEXs just to buy Andy into the whole ecosystem. I just understood the potential of the whole thing through the business and industry knowledge that I have at this stage. But this is just so crazy, because when you have something like this, you want to make it simple. You want to make it easy for people that don't want to figure different things out, like buying a DEX, buying some type of like game token. They just want to have a leverage bet on the whole thing, well known, with a great narrative, first on the market, very, very high quality, blue chip right away, with the proper market makers, with proper team around it as well, with things like sex listings, with a bunch of whales holding it as well, understanding the potential. You just want to have this bet, and after that, you want to sleep well. You will be sleeping very, very well. You would understand that once Blast will actually flip base, once Blast will become largest layer 2, you already have exposure, and your exposure actually already appreciates over time. You have nothing to worry about it. You make your bet, you can sleep very, very well. This is the main utility of Andy as a bet at this stage. And it's not only about like long-term things of the whole thing, because again, I do expect reversal in July. I do expect for Blast token to be heavily repriced, and Andy repriced as well, with parties around Andy and around Blast pretty much kicking off meme season on chain, because this is the next step in the strategy, a very logical step, beneficial to all the businesses that are around these two things, around Andy and around Blast ecosystem as well. What's next? Blast token is bashed for absence of utility. Blast token is a governance token. However, market heavily underestimates the value of governance utility inside a highly incentivized ecosystem, which was also shared by Pacman. He was saying things around this statement in his interview. When you have governance token in the ecosystem where you can direct incentives, this is a pure power of actually being able to create things that actually deliver value to the participants of the ecosystem, to the ecosystem in the first place. God, this is set up so smartly, like this is 10 steps ahead of anything that is present in the crypto market currently. This is so next level. You can see it in everything happen. You can see it in the presentation that they've given in the interviews, in how the whole claiming process actually look like. People just stop trusting. People just cannot see 2 steps ahead. This is what will be overtaken. Even in this simple fact, like it's so funny that he is actually getting bashed for it. Like people are asking, oh, what's the utility of the token? Oh, it's just governance. It's governance in a highly incentivized ecosystem. This is the most important thing. This is how you direct anything that's happening on chain, because people would be focusing on incentives, and they will be directing everything that will be happening through the distribution of incentives that is essentially only allowed to people who hold substantial amounts of the governance token, the main token of the chain. Andy value in connection to Blast token. Andy should not be compared to the market cap of Blast token itself, but rather to TVL of the ecosystem. Same case we have with Base Chain and Bread. There are 2 tokens that are the most close to compare at this stage, as Andy follows Bread narrative perfectly and was created shortly after Bread introduction into the marketplace, in a way that even people that are closest to Bread were predicting and actively searching after the creation of Andy on Blast. This is, I know 100% that people that are close to Bread, that you know very well, they knew and they were specifically searching for the creation of yellow character on yellow chain. They knew about it the day it was created. But this is a very important thought, because Blast has TVL around Base at this stage. Couple days ago it was way larger. I do believe that over time it will become way larger again. If Base has $1.6 billion market cap meme token with exactly the same narrative, why cannot Blast have the same thing? When the amount of transactions is larger, when the amount of unique dApps is larger, when the amount of transaction fees is also larger. It just does not make sense to focus too much on the main token of the chain at this stage. We should strictly be comparing to the metrics, to the data that these layer 2s actually have. Again, I'm saying it one more time. This is the battle of layer 2s of this cycle. We will only have battle between Blast and Base, and Blast will be winning eventually, just through the way it's set up. They are even like boss, that they are full stack. They're called full stack chains in the first place. This is just like so crazy. It's yellow versus blue, but we don't have to kind of be, like very controversial and be angry on this part, because who actually benefited from Cold War? World benefited from Cold War, because Cold Wars and Cold War that happened in the last century, it essentially developed the world heavily. It was a race for technology, a race for adoption, a race for the development. And this is something that will be happening this cycle as well, and is happening already. There are a bunch of Base people making fun of the current situation with Blast. I don't think it will last too long. I don't think we should be comparing ourselves that, oh, the market cap of the main token is this much and that's why Andy cannot go up. We should compare ourselves to the token of the chain with exactly the same narrative, with everything happening the same, with the metrics that are same or either lower than our chain. That's why it's still heavily undervalued. with all the things that I explained to you. Because this peace of mind, like, you don't want to spend a bunch of time to figure out what are the things that are happening on Blast, all the new things. And as mentioned, this is a time bomb. It's only a question of time when something revolutionary appears on the chain and will attract most of the market to it. Because this is the goal. This is why people are working there. This is how it is set up in the first place. You're just getting exposure into the largest meme and to end on Blast with the best narrative at this stage. And you sleep well. You're doing very, very well. Knowing, I'm like, you cannot even fathom that how I feel with me personally having exposure to this thing in the first place. And it works perfectly as well, because once something revolutionary will additionally be appearing on the chain, house money effect will start. In a certain portion of this liquidity, it will always end up in the main meme of the chain. This is a leverage bet on the ecosystem and everything happening in the ecosystem. Leverage bet of the team, on the founder as well, with the best narrative out there. I want you to understand this mind frame, to understand this bet, to see yourself as a VC, as a venture capitalist, as an investor. At the same time, I'm not telling you that this is something long term, because people are always quite bearish, like next season is 1 year from now, things like that. Wait and see what will be happening. It's calm before storm. 100% sure on that. Well, this is my overview. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please let me know if you actually agree or disagree with my arguments in the comments. I would be very, very interested to check out your opinion and have certain disputes on certain topics as well. Thank you very much again, and I will be seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.